Many thanks for joining us. If you're just joining us, this is the Good Morning Cross River Breakfast Show. My name is Blessing Oharekwe, and joining us this morning is Professor John Shiyan, SSA to the Governor on Agriculture. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, madam.
Pleasure to join us on the program this morning, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Quickly, sir, can you provide an overview of coffee production in Cross River State?
Well, thank you. Coffee in Cross River State is not a new story. But let me begin by giving us the background about coffee. Coffee is a shrub that belongs to the family Staculaceae, that is a stimulant. Coffee, cocoa, all of them, tea, they belong to the same family. But coffee, apart from cocoa, is one of the most traded commodity after oil in the world, because it is the most preferred, the most lovely non-alcoholic drink that people take all over the world. And presently, statistics show that more than 1.4 million cups of coffee are taken every day
Daily.
all over the world. So in Cross River State, coffee used to be one of the crops in Cross River State, though not at a commercial level. In the 80s, coffee used to be planted in Cross River State in areas like Creektown. In fact, when we went to Creektown some 3-4 months ago to a community engagement for cocoa estate, they told us they have planted coffee in the past, but along the line, the farms were abandoned. There were some pockets of farms in Akpabio. There were pockets of farms in Obanliku of the ranch, some in Ikom area, but it didn't get to commercial cultivation. When the price of cocoa started rising, people more or less abandoned coffee. But we thank God that now His Excellency, the Governor of Cross River State, Senator Prince Bassey Tutu, has come up with a plan to rejuvenate coffee cultivation in Cross River State, because it is one of the cash spinners, just like cocoa. So right now, coffee cultivation in Cross River State is taking a new leap.
All right. You just spoke about the farms were abandoned, initially. So were there specific reasons why they were abandoned?
Yeah, coffee suffered neglect just like other crops because of the oil boom. You recall that before the oil boom in Nigeria, agriculture used to be the mainstay of Nigeria economy. And when you used to hear of the groundnut pyramid in Kano, the cocoa house in Ibadan, then the palm oil in the southeast at that time. But when the Nigerian oil boom, in the era of oil boom in the early 70s, people abandoned farming for the easy petrol dollars. So coffee suffered that neglect also along the line with other crops.
Okay. All right, thank you. Are there specific region within the Calabar metropolis that we can grow coffee?
Coffee is not a crop of Calabar.
No, I'm just saying with the regions where it's accepted, where we can grow coffee,
Coffee is not just grown anywhere.
Which is why I asked.
There are two varieties of coffee, or two species. We have the Arabica coffee, which is highland coffee, because it does well in the highland area where the altitude is 500 meters above sea level and above. That's Arabica coffee does well in such area. Then we have the lowland coffee, which is the Robusta, which is grown from sea level to areas where altitude is below 450 or thereabout below sea level. So these are the two major varieties of coffee. So the one that they used to be cultivated around the south and the Ecom environment is a Robusta coffee. That's the lowland coffee. But the highland coffee, like I mentioned, the ranch in Obanliku local government area is the Arabica coffee. Incidentally, these two varieties of coffee are not the same. The Robusta coffee is the ordinary coffee, and the international market, even in terms of the aroma and the fragrance, is lower. In most cases, it's considered as inferior coffee because it has lower grade. But the Arabica coffee is a superior coffee. That's the one grown in the highland because of its aroma, and is the most traded globally. The price in the international market is by far higher than the Robusta. That has premium prices. So the Robusta coffee is for the lowland area, like I mentioned, Akpabio, Creektown, and then the Arabica, part of Boki, also in Okwaban, the highlands around there, and then Obanliku, because Obanliku is essentially a highland area. That's where Arabica is cultivated.
So when I wake up in the morning, I can decide to take any type of coffee I want to,
Sure.
and it's perfect for my health.
Of course.
Okay, absolutely. Let's talk about the coffee production and the scale. What are the numbers looking like?
Yes, right now, like I've mentioned, coffee suffered the neglect in the early 80s because of the reason I have outlined, just outright neglect. But today here, the our governor, His Excellency Prince Bassey too, has seen that coffee command high price. The price of coffee and cocoa is pari passu in the international markets. So there are some areas that are not suitable for cocoa production, commercial cocoa production. Then there are some areas where coffee can be cultivated in so His Excellency, he set up a committee, stakeholders committee, to come up with a roadmap for coffee cultivation in Cross River State. I think that committee has gone a long way. They are at the point of submitting their report to His Excellency now. So, however, it has been found out that coffee, like I mentioned, the Arabica coffee is in Obanliku area. Boki, that's the eastern Boki, that's where you have the highlands. It does well in that area. Then some areas in Obubra, that around Yamited area, you have highland. Arabica coffee does well around there. Then some the area between Ecom bordering with Etun, that is the southern Etun there, yes. Such areas, Arabica coffee does well. And some areas in Yako around Agoy area. So the Surveyor has come out with a map of Cross River State showing the altitude in various local government. And we have discovered that these areas are some areas suitable for coffee, Arabica, and some areas for the Robusta coffee. So right now, as we speak, in Obanliku, the government is acquiring 5,000 hectares of land. I just came back a few days ago, and the Surveyor General has sent his men there to survey the area where the community has provided around the Belingate area in Bechewe Ward to establish coffee estates in Cross River State. By next week or thereabout, the Ministry of Agriculture and Irrigation Development is going to carry out profiling of coffee farmers. Like I
was going to get to that. Like,
okay.
how do we train farmers to cultivate coffee?
Okay.
I was going to get to that.
Like I've said, coffee cultivation was abandoned. Even at that time, it was just at the pocket level, small scale level. So we are doing massive public enlightenment on coffee cultivation in the state. No, people are used to cocoa, but incidentally, in most areas, particularly the lowland coffee, where it is cultivated, coffee is also cultivated. So in most plantations, you see coffee and cocoa in the same plantation, and they play complementary role. You see, coffee grown together with coffee, it enhances the aroma of both crops, of both the cocoa and the coffee itself. So we are carrying out massive public enlightenment to get people to hook up to coffee cultivation. Right now, our international development partners have come. That is JR Farms Nigeria Limited, and we are doing that massive enlightenment campaign. And by next week, like I've said, the profilers will be all over the local government, 18 local government area, to profile farmers to get into coffee cultivation. Hopefully, by July, our 8 million seedlings will arrive in Nigeria for planting between July and August latest. So the ministry is really doing a lot now to enlighten the public, get the farmers on board to cultivate coffee.
Yes, sir. So with the international collaboration, so you're saying that it will be very, easy for Cross River State to be able to promote the production of coffee, in terms of, marketing internationally and locally.
Exactly. Cross River State has so many advantages for coffee cultivation. You see, before now, these are international collaborators. They used to be in Rwanda, where the sole producers and exporters of coffee from Rwanda to France. But because of the political instability, insecurity in such areas, they have shifted to Nigeria. And in Nigeria, other areas that are suitable for Arabica cultivation are the Mambila, there's a highland, and the Jos Plateau. But the disadvantage in such area is, you are aware, the insecurity. Absolutely. In the north. Yes. So because of the peace that we enjoy in Cross River State and the favorable weather that we have, Cross River State is said to be the leading coffee producer and exporter in Nigeria in the nearest future.
Absolutely amazing. We commend the work that you're doing. So in terms of individuality, are there farmers who are, for instance, I'm a farmer and I want to, learn how to produce coffee. Yeah. Am I supposed to register with the state government to do that, or it's just a massive training? It's going to be a massive exactly. Manpower empowerment. Exactly. In Cross River State. So, are there specific people that that can work there?
Yes. At this initial stage, the challenge that individual who may want to go into farming will face is lack of seedlings. There are no seeds. So these are development partners that are bringing in the seed of improved varieties for a start. So right now, those who want to go into coffee cultivation, they need to organize themselves into cooperative societies for them to key into this coffee project this time. Just like cocoa, you'll agree with me that when cocoa was brought to Cross River State in the 50s by Sir Michael Okwara, the premier of the Eastern region then, you see, it was only government cocoa estate, the one at Etum. It was just there. But right now, individuals are owning farms that are larger. Some are owning up to 1,000 farms. In fact, one of across Siberia, Right Honorable Daniel Asukwo, is the biggest cocoa farmer in Cross River State. He has more than 2,000 hectares of cocoa, an individual. So the same thing is going to be applicable to coffee. After the first phase, individuals can now source land, who have land, source land, and then cultivate coffee on their own. It's a plantation crop. Yes. Absolutely. But for now, those who want to participate have to key into this government arrangement, the initial step.
All right. So you've listed out previous challenges that the firm has faced. So let's talk about the sustainability and future prospects. What is it looking like? How are we going to sustain this coffee production in Cross River State to ensure that it doesn't, what happened in the past doesn't repeat itself again?
Yeah. Like I mentioned earlier, the committee that the government set up to come up with a roadmap for coffee development in Cross River State has already mapped out the sustainability plan. The model
And we hear them.
is going to be the PPP, that is public-private partnership. So government providing the enabling environment, and then the private sector would drive the process.
Okay.
So that it's not all about government. It has proven over time that government direct involvement in agricultural management does not see the light of the day. So government of Cross River is aware of that. So it's going to be, the model is the PPP arrangement, public-private partnership, so that government is there will not have to drive the process. It's the private sector. So once the government has set up by the enabling environment, the private sector drive the process independent of government. That will ensure sustainability.
All right, sir. Of course, we have seen that the governor himself is the people's first governor.
Yeah.
He's ensuring that our agriculture is safe,
Yes.
and we are in good health. We have what to eat. We are
Exactly.
producing our own food right here in Cross River State. It's a very welcome and big development to the people of Cross River State. Sir, any final words to the people of Cross River State? What are you telling us?
My final word to the people of Cross River State is that coffee cultivation has come to stay in Cross River State. Wealth and sustainable prosperity has come to stay in Cross River State. So people should take advantage of this opportunity provided by government to go into coffee production. If you listen to our jingles, you will see, even on our website and on our platform, you will see grow coffee in Cross River State. So coffee, if you cannot engage at the commercial level, at least plant coffee, 1 or 2 plants in their compound. If you have been to Israel, you will see that in every compound there is 1 or 2 apple trees for family use. So plant 1 or 2 coffee plants in your compound, in your backyard, for family consumption, because coffee,
Does it grow everywhere? You said
yeah, I have already told
Does
you
it
there
grow
are 2
everywhere?
varieties.
Yes.
If you are in an area where Robusta does well, that the lowland coffee, you plant.
So you can plant both and see which one does well.
There are already conditions for the growth of the 2 varieties. It will grow, but if it is in the wrong place, it will not do well.
Okay.
Because every crop requires specific agroecological conditions to do well. So my word to Cross River is that they should rise up to the challenge, take advantage of this opportunity, and go into coffee cultivation. They can take a walk to the Ministry of Agriculture, Agri-Services, the Department of Agri-Services, to find out more information on how to key into coffee cultivation in Cross River State in order to benefit from the economic advantage that this crop offers at various levels. In fact, all the time will fail us. You see, coffee cultivation is beneficial to everybody. You have the stakeholder, the farmers. You have the land, you key into it as a cooperative society, you go into coffee production. You are direct producer. There are those that will go into, who are going to wash. Like I've shown you the fruit. When the fruit is ripe, coffee fruit, you don't use the leaves, it's the fruit that you use. So those who go into washing, it's a value chain. It creates jobs, opportunity at different value chains. Those who go into roasting, before coffee is done, it has to be dried and roasted under specialized equipment. And those who go into blending, that's a value chain. And those who go into marketing, like the merchants and the exporters. So you see that at every stage of coffee product, coffee value chain, employment opportunities are generated, income generation opportunities are there, job opportunities are there, wealth is created at every stage. So perseverance should take advantage of this. I know that in most cases we talk about cocoa, cocoa, cocoa. Cocoa has a period. There's a period of high yield, there's a period of dry period. Just like now, cocoa farmers are just looking for money everywhere because the fruit are not there in the farm. But now is a time for coffee. So even those who are into cocoa cultivation can also go into coffee cultivation, so that during the peak period of cocoa, you won't see fine coffee. The berries are still immature. By the time cocoa is out, coffee is. So you see that year in and year out, you are not lacking money.
All right, because of time, I would have a lot of questions to ask you, but because of time won't permit us to go all of that. So I pray you come back, you do come back to the studio, so that, we give the people of Cross River State everything that they need to know about cocoa production in Cross River State. Many thanks for joining us this morning on the program, Prof. It's a pleasure to always have you here. All right, Cross River, you heard it. Still to come, more stories coming your way. I will be right back. Stay with us.